Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Thank you very much, Wolfie, for starting us off there in proper fashion with the woof. I had forgotten that he came inside this last episode, last Friday, but never mind that. Gotta get him up, and we have to get ourselves out of the hidey hole. And, you know what? No, I should probably still... Hold on, Wolfie. This is just awkward. Awkward and annoying. Alright, I was about to just leave. Oh, dang, I don't have any dirt. There we go. It's a strange wood-covered hidey hole there, but we're leaving that hidey hole. Heading in the wrong direction. We actually want to go that way, west, because that's east. In episode 369 of Far Lands or Bust. It's Monday, June 23rd, and we're continuing to the Far Lands. We are at, ironically enough, or supposedly perhaps intended, in episode 369 at $5,690 raised for Child's Play charity. Got the numbers matching there. Or perhaps some of you are just incredibly immature. Really? Grow up, guys. Really? Numbers like that? This is neither the time nor the place. Nah. But yeah, thank you everybody who keeps donating to Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com. You can make all of the obscene number combinations you dang well please, because it's going to help. The money is, not the obscenities. The money is going to Child's Play charity, which helps get toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world. And they actually over the weekend just had their Child's Play charity golf thingamajig outing. It's an annual thing, much like the charity Fancy Pants Black Tie dinner. They do a golf outing, raising money for Child's Play charity with the guys from Penny Arcade, but also all the Child's Play charity folks. It's kind of a big fundraising situation. Sorry, I'm replenishing my dirt. I don't know. It must be that the last many hidey holes have all been dug into solid stone, and I don't have the dirt for which to maintain elevated hidey holes throughout the next episode. But yeah, we're continuing on indeed, and in the last episode... Strange door for a hidey hole. In the last episode, I mentioned on Friday it was due to be a launch of the SpaceX Falcon 9, an unmanned, a commercial launch for satellites for communications company or something. Unfortunately, that got scrubbed on Friday. It was delayed an hour, but then overall scrubbed due to a pressure issue in one of the tanks. And then it was rescheduled for Saturday, and the weather caused that to be scrubbed. And then also on Sunday, and then they rescheduled it for Tuesday. But I believe they ran out of range permission for the Air Force, because the Air Force is who controls that Cape Canaveral there. And now it's been delayed till early July, this launch of the SpaceX Falcon 9. It does indeed have the landing legs attached, so they will once again, much like they did with the last Dragon launch, be testing the soft landing of the first stage Falcon 9 in the ocean, of course, but that's interesting to know. However, what's not so interesting to know is that at least during the Saturday broadcast, the second attempt, or the Saturday attempt, rather, they decided not to broadcast. If you were with me on Friday, I said go to SpaceX.com webcast, and they generally will broadcast all of their launches, and they actually have a few people in kind of a makeshift studio there at the SpaceX headquarters in California, and they'll give commentary and stuff. I think their jobs are, they're actually like specialists and payload specialists or other engineers like at SpaceX. They were just somehow volunteered or they were recruited to be the commentary providers during broadcasts. Look at this. This This is an invasive species of bamboo. It's destroying this tree. Oh, that's weird. Let me put this tree out of its misery by removing it from existence. I suppose I could have removed the sugarcane, but I will let the sugarcane flourish, and we will continue west, never to see it again. So yeah, that's a weird thing that they decided not to broadcast, and actually a SpaceX spokesperson, when asked about that by, that kind of caused a bit confusion and a little bit of uproar to the rest of the space flight enthusiast community. The SpaceX spokesperson Emily Shanklin, said, and I quote, "We've actually been ready to move away from the webcasts for a while. It takes a lot of resources, but the main reason is these launches are becoming more routine, and the full webcast really isn't appropriate anymore." End quote. Do I have to say end quote? Is this like a news program? So that is a weird thing to say, especially coming from SpaceX. Now, it is a private company, and unlike NASA, they are under no legal or any sort of other obligation to have live broadcasts of their launches to the public, because like I said, they're a private, they're not a public organization. But it's just poor form, to be honest. It would, not only are there so many people who are interested in watching a live broadcast, but it's kind of advertising. Obviously, we're not the ones who are going to buy payload on the next launch or anything like that, but, it gets the word out, it gets people interested. If kids see that stuff, they get interested and they grow up and maybe want to become a rocket scientist or something like that, but it's kind of a weird thing to say, and a lot of, especially for, like I said, for SpaceX, because they just had the live unveiling of the Dragon capsule version 2, and that was almost put on as if it was like revealing a new Apple iPhone, or more recently the Kindle phone, the Kindle phone. It was like a big press event. It was in the evening. The Elon Musk was the one giving the presentation, the president of the company, and they were in their big hangar there, and there were lights and production values and blah 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 blah. So it's kind of weird why they would say that they're not interesting anymore, that they've become routine. And that's a shame. I hope they do reverse their decision on that. And even okay, Wolfie, are you all right? You're kind of stuck. I'll go this way and get you to spawn. Okay, let's say they've become routine, and maybe they take up a lot of resources. Okay, maybe not having the studio with the two people who aren't really professional presenters giving the play-by-play on the launch, but at least provide a live stream. They're recording it with video regardless, because they would do so for research and engineering purposes, and the rockets have cameras on board. We don't necessarily need the commentary, the studio commentary from those people. So why not just give like a live feed of the launch? Everybody, I and a lot of people watch Soyuz launches, even though that commentary and all the radio chatter is in Russian. NASA does provide an English translator over the top of that, but it's kind of a weird choice. I hope that isn't the way moving forward. Maybe they were just having particular issues and having to do it. Okay, it didn't work Friday, let's try Saturday, Sunday. Having to do it multiple times. Maybe it was putting a strain. Maybe the people who work at SpaceX who handled the broadcast had the day off on Saturday. I don't know. A multitude of questions are arisen, and that quote from the SpaceX spokesperson is a little bit concerning over their stance. I mean, simply saying these launches have become routine, that is kind of something we want space travel, space launches to be routine, but we don't want them they're not. That doesn't mean they're uninteresting or the public is uninterested in what's going on. So a little bit concerning. Kind of hoping that isn't the case. That going forward, with stuff, and maybe I doubt that they would do that for their space station launches. Maybe they're just saying that about these commercial, non-NASA, non-science missions. I don't know. Even other spaceflight companies, even for the classified Air Force, the military spy satellite launches, they provide a live feed of the launch. They just cut out at a certain point during the launch where they say, okay, we can't let you know where this rocket's going to end up anymore. See you next time. So, yeah, kind of strange. I guess we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Let's keep an eye closed, and let's keep both our eyes closed and sleep. And awakeness. That's a nice little area over there. I enjoy it. There's like 2 peaks. Oh god, that had to hurt. 2 little peaks, a little bit of a valley in between. Yeah. Alright, Wolfie's following along. What else did I want to talk about? I went on a little bit of a tirade yesterday on Twitter about paint. Apparently, paint the inside of your house like walls. I mentioned many times that the liquid problem I had coming through the ceiling caused some issues, and then recently I was very awkward during the encounter where the maintenance person came and fixed it, patched over it, and I need to repaint it because the patch part does not match the wall. And there was a bucket of paint, of white paint left from the previous owners, and I figured, oh, this is the only white walls in the building. This must match. Does not match. I painted the entire thing, and I saw that this white is really bright compared to the white of the wall. Maybe it'll dry darker. Maybe that's what happens. So I painted the whole thing. I didn't paint a whole wall. I just the patched area, which is not insignificant, but significant. And includes most of the ceiling and 3 walls actually. No, different color. There must be many shades of white when it comes to interior paints. So I hate painting as one of the worst things to do in a house. I generally just stick with the previous owner. Okay, this looks good. If there isn't major problems or blood stains or anything, I'll just blood stains. Where are you living, Kurt? I'll just keep the default paint. I will not paint. Painting is just a horrible thing, and it's just worse than doing taxes. So I really don't want to choose a new white and do the whole thing. It's kind of strange. It's in a stairwell, so there's 2 different ceiling angles, and like I said, 3 different walls and involved, and I don't want to have to do all of them. And so I was like, how does one? Okay, I have a white wall. I need to go to the store to buy paint to match. How do I do this? How does one explain to the shop worker in the hardware store, I need white, but not white, just a little bit white, mostly white, kind of a yellowy, but not yellow, just an off white. It's how do you do that? And then I was, of course, very promptly reminded that they have little swatches at the hardware stores, so I could theoretically go and grab every single white swatch that there is. Ooh, interesting lands coming up ahead. Let's check those out. So I could do that and match as best as I could. And I was actually joking about this, I'm like, what do I need to do? Cut a big hole in the wall and bring a piece of the wall in and say, match this? Thus defeating the purpose of painting over the holes in the walls. No, but apparently you can, with a razor, just etch out a 1" by 1" square and just peel off that paint, or that top layer, and then patch over that and paint over that and bring that into a store, and they could match that. So all was not lost. I really did not want to paint an entire room ever again for the rest of my life. My life will be deemed a success if I never have to paint a room ever again. To be honest, that is how much I despise painting. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out. That was really the only thing of interest that has happened via the social medias in the last couple days. Yeah, I mentioned in the last episode that I was playing a video game that I can't talk about. It's actually you can probably figure it out, but it's going to be releasing tomorrow, and with that, I will be releasing a video at about the time they deem necessary. See, this is the first time I've ever gotten like an advanced copy from a developer for review purposes, and there is a kind of an NDA associated with it. I don't even know if I can say when the NDA expires, but the game releases tomorrow, and I'm hoping to have the drop on some footage, a little bit of a review, I suppose. I'll be the first. The first. You could probably guess what it is. But yeah, it's not that big a deal. It's not any sort of super secret thing with Good or any other Mindcracker. It's not. I'm not all that secretive about my series. As some people are like, "Oh, don't tell any details about when you're gonna start playing this video game." I'm like, "No, I bought this game. I'm gonna play it." Or whatever. But this one in particular, I don't want to get on any like review blacklists, so I'm being very delicate about it. But we'll enjoy it. I think it's going to make for an enjoyable Let's Play. Yeah. Speaking of which, let's actually answer. Actually, this has absolutely nothing to do with speaking of which, but to answer some more of these questions from donors to Child's Play charity, farlandsofbus.com. When you donate, you can leave a comment, leave a question. Leave your name if you want to, because by default I get no information about your donation. It's all anonymous and private. So if you do leave a comment, leave your name inside the comment, and I will give a shout out with your question. This first one from Beast Boy Rolf, asks, what if the employees at Mojang were somehow able to incorporate the Far Lands in current versions of the game? Sorry. In current versions of the game, would you jump into these versions? Whoa, good lord. Speaking of jumping in, I almost jumped down to my doom and death and destruction. I've answered this many times before. Probably not. At least probably not immediately. Simply because I think part of what... Careful. No. Part of what makes people enjoy this series, Far Lands or Bust, and even what makes me enjoy it, while I'm playing it, is that it is a different. Is the sky purple? Does that just happen in snow biomes? The sky looks very purple today. I'm having a stroke. I'm smelling purple. So yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like a lot of the draw of Far Lands or Bust is that we're playing in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, and it is using what is now really old, several generations old terrain generation. Different meanings of the same word there, generation, but a lot of people were fans of this, what you could say, oh god, a simpler mode of terrain generation, but also more random, more interesting. There's more chances of getting those weird things we had back there, and those weird things where the reeds are growing up through the trees, and whatever's happening up here with the trees, and just more variation, it seems, than the current generations, which seem to follow stricter rules, and they've recently, in the recent snapshots, given you the ability to edit these rules. That is, telling how the different scatter algorithms, adjusting the parameters, sliding the sliders a little bit, the presence of and rarity or frequency of mob spawners, and stuff like that, which is good. But the majority of people, when you talk about Minecraft, they don't fiddle with those settings. And when you talk about vanilla Minecraft, you're just talking about create new world, create world, and that's the seed you get. But But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is part of the charm of the series, and who knows? If they were to do that, maybe it would take me another 2 or 3 years before people are like, all right, I've seen enough of Beta 173 terrain generation. Let's switch to the latest terrain generation. If in fact the far lands do exist in whatever version you're posing that it could happen, but I don't think that is going to happen. To be honest, they would have to actively break the game again, and that's another reason why I wouldn't do that, is because in this version it's genuinely an accident. It's genuinely a bug. To bring back the far lands wouldn't feel as genuine. So yeah, that's that question. It goes on to ask similar things. Would you stop to experience all of the new items to expose to you? I'm assuming like villages and other things. Blah 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 blah. Enchanting. Do you think it would liven the journey more or lessen it due to generic terrain generation? I just answered this question preemptively. And yeah, that's another thing. I would be afraid that I know I get distracted in this version, but I would be afraid I'd get too distracted by a lot of things. Like, would I have to stop by every village I come across and talk to all the villagers? Or, this here feels much more like a desolate, a lonely one-man journey. I am the sole survivor in this apocalyptic wasteland. I don't know why it's suddenly apocalyptic. The nuclear fallout is collecting on the ground. Oh, Kurt. You have such an imagination. Such a dangerous, deadly imagination. Ooh. Snowball. You want to go fetch? Oh, faked you out, guy. How about now? You are not impressed. Not impressed in the latest. Spelunk. All right, let's make this elevated hidey hole. And then we will continue on with the third and final day of episode 369 of Far Lands or Bust. Oop, not what I meant. That's what I meant. Let's place the bed quickly now and go to sleep. And awakeness. Woof, right, Wolfie? Let's get you one of those guys and continue on. I'm gonna let me get some torches here. Ooh, okay, that's good. I'll stick with that. Torches. I need a boat. Place, damn you. Let's see another question here. Wait. Oh, I dropped all my... Okay, got it. Another question here. Boop. My nose is itchy. It's been raining a lot. I feel like the pollen and stuff is going to increase, and it's going to give me a bad day. From Steve. Say, I watched your Jason Statham initiative video. I know you're an introvert, but why don't we see more of you? Because I'm an introvert. No, because I've made this channel about Let's Plays, about video game footage. It's also certainly what I'm set up for here in the studio, in the Far Lands of Bust Studios. It's what I've got the mic for. It's what I've got all the stuff for, and I've got the programs. I've got my setup here, so it's kind of it's a lot easier. And what I'm set up for is the gameplay footage. I don't know. It seems like it would be a rather significant. Oh, there he is. A significant shift and change, and I would have to start from scratch. Sorry, my nose. Speaking of scratch, good lord. Itch that scratch. Speaking of scratch, that's my nose. Sorry, I wouldn't want to. I'd have to basically start from scratch, as if I was to start to do vlogs. I feel like Doc is somebody who has kind of started at least travelogue, vlogs, vlogs as he calls them. Started to do that, and you can see. He's started to get better and better and better as he continues on with that. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like I'd have to start over, and it feels like if I were to start doing more IRL stuff, it would almost feel like that would belong on a separate channel. it's a hard thing to say. It's a spicy meatball to try to swallow. And yeah, just not sure. Back when I was starting out, even in that first year, I did a little bit more. I did some update videos where I recorded, where I was out hiking or whatever, and or I did the Lego video or the milestone videos when I wasn't quite sure. Oh, maybe I should. That seems like a lot of the big YouTubers, in addition to gameplay videos, they'll post videos of themselves and blah blah blah. I wasn't quite sure where my skills or my goals for my channel quite laid quite where they rested, where they originated from, what the goal was. And I've only more recently felt like I'm starting to get to the amount of videos. Like I said, it's kind of a quantity game here. Whoa! To get the amount of videos and video games up that I want to, that would help my channel keep growing and help myself keep eating and, living in a place with a roof over my head. But yeah, it's a hard thing to answer. But I've started to just kind of be comfortable doing this. I don't know if I'm quite ready, and maybe, like I said, maybe a couple of years I'll be okay, ready to start shaking things up. I would definitely need different equipment and some different knowledge, perhaps. But and I don't know. Maybe it would have to take. I've also started to think about different funding platforms, and YouTube sometimes doesn't give us the greatest of security or recognition, and it makes you a little bit worried at times, especially if you have certain changes coming up in your life, or it's new car year or something like that, and you're like, oh, I'm really not doing as hot as I thought I was, or something like that. I'm doing okay. Let's get that across. But you start to think about these things coming up like Subbable and Patreon, and right now, I don't want to talk too much about it because he's asked us not to, but MC Gamer's channel has mysteriously, without warning or notice or anything, become suspended. MC Gamer, of all people. Like, what the hell? And he's contacting, and I'll find out after I'm done recording this what the update is. He's contacting his network people, and it starts to get a little bit scary. So maybe, I have thought about the Subbable or the Patreon kind of system, where like, oh, if we get this much per month, then I will for this, then I will open a vlog channel or something like that. I'm not doing that right now. Don't freak out and say yes, I need to do this. Just coming up with ideas. Or if we raise this much, fund this much per month, I'll do a weekly podcast. I know I mentioned I always thought I'd be kind of interesting to do a podcast style thing, and that got good response when I mentioned that. Like, oh, I'd watch that, I'd want to see that, I'd download that from iTunes or whatever, but it would require some additional padding, security, funding, I guess is the literal word for it, to get those sorts of things moving forward. So yeah, I'm not going to rule out potentially doing more vlogs, whether or not they be travel vlogs or I always, I feel I'm okay as somebody who gives opinions on technology, or not like unboxing videos, but like reviews. People always ask, oh, how are you with your phone, your Nexus? I'm like, it's fine, but it doesn't matter because it's the old version. If you're going to buy a Nexus, you're probably going to buy the new version, in which case I can't really give an opinion on. And technology or stuff like that, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Or maybe I'll just strap a GoPro to my car and drive like a madman. Who knows? The possibilities are endless on the internet. But I do appreciate, Steve, that question. Let's go to a question. Where is the sun at? There was something that was kind of... no, that one's kind of actually it's asking about YouTube. That's a little bit too hefty of a question. Yeah, I guess let's go to the next one just in the list here from Stinus. Asks, what made you decide to pick Fermilab as your build on the Mindcrack server? I felt like challenging myself with a large build. I was always kind of jealous of those, like Anders has his awesome floating islands. Beef in the previous season had his giant castle. And of course, B-Dubs this year made the Town Hall. Last year he made the Ethos Arena. And, large builds seemed to kind of have an impact on me, especially in Minecraft, where we're kind of, we're a small person here in this very gigantic world, especially in the new versions when the world height limit is tripled. I feel like scale really can make an impact, so that's why I decided that. And it's a simple design. Sometimes maybe too simple, into the fact where I'll stop being interested in it. And you may notice I've had a distinct lack of Minecraft videos lately, and it is a little bit because of that, but also a little bit because I have been concentrating on these other video games. I've been doing, Spin Tires and Lifeless Planet, and I'm trying to keep those up, and I failed this weekend, so there might be a day or two delay on getting those series continuing going. But also starting this other Let's Play of Secret Origin and Releasey Tomorrowness. And so, yeah, it's kind of... And I was thinking about that. I'll mention this right here. I've always... A lot of people kind of realize my channel for the last couple of years or so has been kind of a 1 video per day channel at the most. Not quite the volume of other Let's Players. And it is... I've started to maybe realize maybe it is an attention span thing. I do remember, and I do know, whenever before I started doing this YouTube thing, even as a kid, when I played a video game, I basically bought a video game, and that was the only video game I played until I beat it, and then I put it away, and I tried another video game. I wasn't one for having 6 video games going at a time, being like, oh, I'm going to play Grand Theft Auto right now. Oh, in the next hour I'll play this, that, or the other. I was very one-track mind about that sort of thing. I'm not much of a multitasker, and in playing all these games recently, I'm starting to lose Call of Duty. Yeah, I've totally forgotten about Call of Duty. See, I start to concentrate on one versus the other, so I feel like I just in my brain might have a limit of how many wires can be connected to what. There's a limited amount of bandwidth in my own brain here to be able to do all these different games at the same time. And I don't know, maybe that means I can adjust, and instead of doing games on a alternating day by day sort of thing, maybe I should play one game and release it on a daily schedule. That way I'm finished with that sooner, and then I can move on to the next game. I don't know. See, I have all this stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing about the Let's Play and the gameplay videos, and how could I possibly be expected to then start to decide to do in real life vloggy or camera in my face videos? It's craziness. Indeed. So yeah, thank you. Whoa, careful, Wolfie. What was that? There wasn't even a cliff around here. Heathcliff Huxtable. Jello Puddin' Pops. That, I'll stay away from there. Let's just dig in here, I guess. I'm not gonna have dirt again because I'm digging into solid stone. Good job, Kurt. Planning ahead, as always. Let's have Wolfie. Yeah, you can just sit outside. I'm not gonna invite you in again. Do I have enough room? I think I have enough room to make this full-sized. 3, and we can do dirt on the doorway. Awesome. But I want to thank you guys for dealing with my inability to multitask, and if anything, that has simply helped Far Lands or Bust, because I set a goal, my mind is stuck to it, and I have had no space in my brain for any distractions to continue Far Lands or Bust here, and I do appreciate you guys having similar brain problems in following along with Far Lands or Bust for this long, and continuing to donate to Child's Play charity. As I always mention at the end of an episode, that is much appreciated. All that money going to a great cause. Learn more at childsplaycharity.org. That's right, C418. Your very gentle piano music makes us all feel good about ourselves. Indeed. So, thank you so much for watching episode 369 of Far Lands or Bust. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. itch that scratch.